Dan Harmon is one of my favorite writers of all time. He's written 2 shows that I've rewatched countless times in Rick and Morty and Community. And what I love about Dan's writing is his ability to have a random premise, but at the end of it, have a story where his characters develop in ways that really hit home. Now, I'm going to use an example of Rick and Morty. Take Morty's arc in Me Seeks and Destroy. After everything they've been through, including that alternate dimension where he had to kill his whole family in the cold open, Morty's had enough of Rick's dangerous, unpredictable adventures. He calls Rick out, saying a lot of these trips put him in horrible position, and he demands to pick the next mission, you know? He feels as though missions and adventures don't need to be this scarring and traumatic. So Morty goes for something safe, a fantasy quest where he goes to a town and they task him with a similar story as Jack and the Beanstalk. With no portal travel, they have to climb so many stairs, and yeah, it still seems harmless until Morty is SA'd by King Jellybean and then put on trial for murder later on in the story. Not exactly the wholesome fairy tale story that he imagined. But at the end, Morty realizes the universe is random and dangerous, and no matter who picks the adventure, he has to just put his pride to the side and accept that Rick knows best, and what he's doing sometimes might actually help. And Rick silently avenges him by killing the guy in the end. They end up returning home, both having a mutual respect for each other. So now, I bet you're wondering how this all relates to Youngs Tef. Well, let's take a trip and figure this out. Because the same storytelling principle in Rick and Morty, in Me Seeks and Destroy, are also present in Youngs Tef's latest album, Keep the Change, on a song called Unusual Suspects. Specifically, in the track Unusual Suspects, it fits perfectly with Dan Harmon's writing circle, where each element of the story is mapped out using these key points. It's not necessarily a framework, and if I was to give a definition, it's more so about the writer having a structure that they can fit different characters into where they will change after. And each element of the writer's circle goes as follows. You, a character in their comfort zone, you know, at the start of the story. They need, they want something, they go out and get it. They enter an unfamiliar situation. 4, they adapt to the struggle of the situation. 5, they get what they want. 6, they suffer a price for it. 7, they return home. And 8, they leave changed after that story. Now, we could use the story I told with Morty at the start of this episode as a way to, you know, map out how his story relates to this. So number 1, Morty is forced to be in a situation where he's in a dangerous mission which causes him trauma and is unpredictable, and he wants to take control of the missions. The need that Morty has is agency. He wants to feel safe and not be traumatized every time he goes on a mission with Rick. The third one is go. Rick agrees and Morty chooses a safe fantasy style adventure. 4, Morty realizes the world is very unpredictable and is dark, and he is sexually assaulted by King Jellybean and is also put on trial for the murder of a giant. 5, Morty finds courage and confronts the trauma. He pushes through the emotional pain and completes the quest and keeps going. And Rick silently avenges Morty as well. 6, Morty sacrifices his beliefs on the world can be safe and simple and loses that naivety and realizes that horror exists everywhere. And even in the stories that he thought would be wholesome, he loses that level of childhood idealism, as I would say. 7, Morty and Rick return home from the adventure. 8, Morty is no longer the same boy he was. He understands the world to a deeper level, and his desire for control and chaos tempered slowly but surely, leaving him changed. So as you can see, we've run through all of it. Now let's go back to Tef and figure out how he uses Dan Harmon's writing circle to create a perfect story. So let's start speaking about Unusual Suspects. So the you in this situation is Tef, a character who is tracking down a mob boss from afar. Number 2, the need is he wants to catch him and ransom him for 500 bags. His go is that he plans on using an inside man to help him abduct the mob boss's daughter and use her as leverage. 4, there's a hitch in the plan where removal vans are outside the boss's yard and he figures out that people are trying to get him down. 5, he learns that the mob boss is one step ahead and the mob boss's sister is out for vendetta. 6, he joins forces with her and risking everything in a high-stakes finesse worth 80. 7, the plan works and the mob boss loses due to his sister's betrayal. And the story ends with Tef learning the lesson that mud is thicker than blood. Now, why do I say mud is thicker than blood, and why do I think this story works well? Well, what makes this story hit for me is it's almost a street parable. Nobody's actually named throughout the story, and you can replace Tef's character with anyone in the streets, and the lesson still stands. No matter how smart you think you are, no matter how untouchable you feel, loyalty can't be bought. And when loyalty breaks, empires crumble. The mob boss's arrogance towards his sister and not feeling as though she was a threat led to his ultimate downfall. And it's a very harrowing story about how you can never predict who can actually be ready to sell you out. And something like this could also happen to Tef's character in this story as well, because if he, for example, slimes out one of his friends, whether it be the guy he was on the phone with or one of his family members, and they want to hold a grudge, and then the next person who wants to rob Tef uses that person, the story and the cycle will just repeat itself. And for me, that's why I really enjoyed this song. I mean, it really gets you thinking about how loyalty cannot be bought, and the minute you have a disloyal person, your whole empire and your whole world really can just come crumbling down. And it also gave me that same feeling that I feel when I listen to other storytelling classics like Tony's Story by Meek Mill, Wayne's Story by King Von, or How Much a Dollar Cost by Kendrick Lamar. Each leaving me with a lesson, and every time I listen to it, trying to see if maybe in the earlier parts of the song I can figure out the mystery / story earlier on in the story. So like, for example, if I listen to it from minute 1 to 2, could I maybe predict earlier that this person would double cross this person is crazy, or this person's this person's that. And it also allows me to recontextualize it as I'm listening to it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite storytelling song? And do you like Youngs Teflon's new album, Keep the Change? But speaking about J to the Izzo, and I am out.